Six Nations 2022, folks. France. Any chance of them taking this game lightly away at Murrayfield? Apparently, those thoughts were not well founded because France have dominated the Scots 36 points to 17. It's an away bonus point win for the French. Potential Grand Slam is still on the cards, although we are still only 3 rounds in, so far from done and dusted, but more than halfway there. We're going to go through the key events, some stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts, plus the upcoming fixtures in round number 4. It was a bit of a weird start. Funny kickoff from Intermac means we've got a scrum early. It gets reset about 3 times, so the game doesn't exactly have a flying start. For me, when I've gotten up at, what time was it? 3 something in the morning. So, 3:45. Yeah, not the fastest of starts, but it didn't take too long, to be fair, to wake up. I mean, Jaminet, who had a bit of a weird game, conceded a kind of dumb penalty and didn't kick that well from the tee. He missed a penalty early, but it didn't take long for France to get on the board. Willemse, first try of the game, not a real prolific try scorer, Willemse, but Duhan with a line break and beat Darcy Graham, I think it was, which is kind of uncharacteristic as well. And was it Darge who had a pretty good game? I think it might have been him, guilty of one of the first ones slipping off a tackle. Quick recycle ball, and Willemse is the guy who finishes off a pretty well worked team try. So France get the scoring underway, 7 points to 0. But that being said, France from the restart have been a little bit guilty of some soft ones this year, and it did prove the case early on in this one. It was Graham, that man who was maybe feeling a little bit perturbed at the fact that he'd missed a tackle in that first French try. He gathers the restart, which is a great bit of aerial ball from the wee man, and Scotland ended up getting a penalty. I think it was Antonio who was offside. So, 3 points on the board for Scotland. Not a bad way to kind of hit back, maybe settle things back down, get the crowd into the game. France, though, they replied in pretty good fashion. Like I mentioned, Jaminet, at times I thought he was having a bit of a nightmare, but to his credit, he did kick a really nice, and it was windy, a really nice 50-22, which directly leads to a French try. I could swear I heard the crowd, even that early on, chanting like "Elle est le bleu," and we're only kind of, in the first quarter of the game. But like I said, it's a line out, and that French line out is pretty deadly. They're able to set up some pretty slick moves. They get some wide ball to Penaud. Is there with an offload. Penaud somehow doesn't go into touch. The big loose head prop, somehow manages to get a pretty slick offload away. And it ends up being Moefana who goes over for a try. They missed the conversion, like I mentioned. It was pretty windy. But 12 points to 3. Not a bad start for the French side. But I reckon from there, it's about the time where Scotland really come into the game. And it's their chance to probably get on top. I know that seems like a stupid thing to say when it's 36 points to 17. But there was a real kind of 20-minute patch where Scotland had all the momentum, and everything France was doing was just not really clicking. Scotland had a scrum penalty, which was kind of a good settler, a good attacking chance. Jaminet had a moment where he conceded a weird penalty where he kind of jumps into Sam Skinner. He ends up hitting the ball like a football player. It's just all very awkward. It's a bit of a strange one. So, from there, Scotland did manage to go close. Ali Price looked like he'd maybe gone over for a try, but it looks like there's an arm under the ball, so good kind of defence, hanging on for grim death. But Scotland go again, and that time Darge goes over on 29 minutes. Gilchrist misses the tackle, and Scotland are well back into the game. It's only a 2-point, 12 points to 10. So from here, I feel like Scotland probably should go in front. I mean, Darge wins another breakdown penalty. Jaminet knocks it on in his own half. It seems to be going Scotland's way. Scotland, and maybe this is the game breaker. Scotland seemingly have what should be pretty much a sure thing try. Duhan van der Merwe gets a big old line break from his own half. He gets the ball to Harris, who's running a support line. And Scotland have got numbers. I don't remember how many on how many. But surely if you just draw and pass, put the ball through the hands, Scotland will go over for a try. But Harris goes for a long pass to Hogg. He just can't take the ball. Pass is not quite on the money and the hand's not quite on the money. Small margins, but man, it's a really golden opportunity missed for Scotland to go in front, to really put that mental seed of doubt into France. But they don't do it. And then what do France do? Maybe kind of one of those things that championship teams do. They take the momentum back right before halftime, and it's a pretty unbelievable try. Gael Fiku runs an incredible line across the field to just kind of glide over in the corner virtually untouched. But it's a 14-point swing, really. It's absolutely unbelievable. So, France end up going into the sheds with a bit of an extended lead there, 19 points to 10. So, what can you say? Great stuff from the French. I mean, Fiku is quite a player. He's honestly unbelievable. But Scotland will be absolutely kicking themselves they couldn't score just prior to that. I mean, the first half has been cracking. Like I said, I got up at the crack of dawn, still not even dawn, to watch this one. And the run meters were 204 to 224 in that first half, which is more than we see in some games sometimes. Scotland's tackling percentage is at 70%, which is atrociously low. They're really guilty of some poor defence. I mean, France are at 86, which in this championship I think is kind of low, but it's certainly a lot better than 70. Scotland have had more ball, more territory, but they are behind on the scoreboard. Second half, Chris Harris has had to go off. He's got an HIA and he doesn't come back on, which is kind of unfortunate for him. Antonio goes off not long into the first half as well. His hip seems to have been bothering him pretty much the whole game. But early on in the second half, you got to wonder, man. Like, that's when you're starting to wonder if it's France's style. Like, even the bounce of the ball seems to be on their side because France strike either side at half time, right? That's the second one is Penaud down on the right wing from some turnover ball. I think it was Price that ended up dropping the ball. But Penaud with a chip over the top, and Duhan van der Merwe guns him for pace. I mean, they're both chasing the kick. Duhan van der Merwe has clearly got the pace, and Hogg's there as well. But the ball just takes a wicked bounce back the way it came from. And who's there? Dante. Dante just grabs it. And he kind of is able to canter over the line for another try for France. So it's a quick fire double either side of halftime. That's the bonus point. The Marseillaise, French national anthem, is being belted out from the crowd. Yeah, these guys are absolutely pumped. 26 points to 10. I mean, Scotland, again, from here, they do have some chances. They get a line out 6 metres out from French line, but they concede a penalty at the breakdown for going off their feet. They have a 5 metre line out. They put a little kick through eventually that kind of pins the French back, but they're not able to score any points. It's not like the second half they are without chances in French territory. From there, they kind of end up having to play the game from their own half because it's like you got to score. So they're kind of forcing the issue, and it maybe compounds things for them. But France opted for a long penalty when Zander Fagerson gave away a pretty soft penalty at maul time. But Jaminet's boot was wide with that one as well. But it really is truly game over with the next try. That one's Penaud. He gets his double. Like I mentioned, France just having to kind of Scotland having to keep the ball in their own half. Eventually, Darge gets held up in a tackle, and to avoid the maul turnover, he just kind of chucks it out. But France are able to gather it, and they get the ball wide to Penaud, and he just kind of goes over. So 31 points to 10. France were able to get breakdown turnovers and whatnot. It was 21-point lead. That was pretty much it, wasn't it? It was a real rout when Penaud got his final try because he gets a double on 74 minutes, and yeah, that was Intermac with the cross kick to make it 36-10. Duhan Vinamova did get a consolation one on pretty much 80 minutes. That one was who'd you go? The fullback. The fullback come 10. What's his name? Goodness me. Kinghorn. Kinghorn with a nice kind of kick return play. He just, did what a good fullback does and saw some space, saw a forward up against them, and had a good line break. But they were pretty well beaten in that second half. That was the only scoring for them. So, yeah, a bit of a weird game from a Scottish point of view, and that I feel like they had the chance to secure the momentum, put the pressure on the French, put that doubt in their mind. But it was absolutely the French who took the bull by the horns and scored some really good tries. So, yeah, bonus point win from France away from home puts them really in the driver's seat of the Six Nations. Run meters 464 to 443. Like, proper entertaining stuff. Kicks from hand was 11 to 26. Scotland with 11. That's low. That's really low. Like, some games we see one team kick 40 odd. So for the whole game to only have 37 kicks from hand is pretty low. Possession 59-41, territory 51-49. So Scotland more ball, slightly more territory, but like I mentioned, they were having to keep the ball on their own half to try and force the issue, which is, chasing the game, never easy to do. Clean break 6-3 to France, offloads 10-4 to France. Their hands are pretty slick. Guys like Bai, to have hands like he does, makes it really fun to watch. Scotland only have to make 59 tackles to France's 153, but that tackling stat continues to be pretty bad reading for the Scots, whose defence the last couple of years has been phenomenal. But not today, man. 77% the overall percentage is up from the first half, but that's really like Super Rugby teams in context tackle at a higher rate than that. So you can't be doing that at international level. 86% for France, which is like, again, it's okay without being... Sean Edwards won't be happy with that. But, penalties conceded 12-9. Dupont gets man of the match, 64 run meters, a clean break, 3 defenders beaten. Penaud, couple of tries, 85 run meters for him, 3 clean breaks, 2 defenders beaten. I mean, Stuart Hogg has 100 plus run meters, but he also has 4 missed tackles. Graham has 4 missed tackles. Ali Price has 3 missed tackles. So uncharacteristic stuff from the Scots, but you got to give credit to the French. Darge, I mean, his team only made, 59 tackles. He makes 8 of them and misses 1. So he was kind of ever present on a struggling side. Of course, makes 16 out of 17. But there you go. I mean, you could tell the French were not taking it lightly when they're up by 21 points, 70 plus minutes in, and Dupont is still on the field. Gaultier could have subbed him way earlier, but didn't want to take the foot off the throat. 36 points to 17. Big win for the French. But France are away to Wales in a couple of weeks' time. That should be a pretty interesting game. It's going to be another big test for them to see if they can kind of knuckle down and take the step that they've failed to take the last couple of years. But this is certainly a good step in the right direction. And for Scotland, good chance to reset against Italy away for them in a fortnight. So, hard day at the office for the Scots. They were in the game until they weren't. The French, got to give them absolute credit because they scored some proper wonder tries in this game, and looked a pretty bloody good outfit. Anyway, you guys have any thoughts? I'm off to watch Wales and England. You guys take care, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.